Welcome to this next episode of YouTube where I've entitled it Spring Cleaning, and that is one thing that not only the wolf care staff do, but we will have an upcoming Working for Wolves here in a few weeks, and we'll be removing all the straw from the enclosure, trying to clean up the raven droppings from the rocks, and basically try to reseed some areas that have been pretty heavily compacted, especially with this active exhibit pack. So one of the first things we did was wash the windows. That was the first time this year in the 2014 season that it was warm enough to wash the windows. So what we do is we try to move the exhibit pack off display while the windows are being washed, because they like to scent roll up against the window and kind of defeats the purpose of us washing them. So when they come back out, we've put a lot of little treats around in the rocks that give them a little bit of a distraction and keep them, kind of give them a little positive reinforcement for going into holding for us. So you're seeing them discovering where those treats are, using their sense of smell. So we, like I said, we are going to have to wait till some of the snow goes. A lot of the straw is kind of frozen in the snow, and the snow under the straw is being insulated by the straw, so it's going to have to wait till some significantly warmer days for us to be able to melt that. So we do know that Luna's doing real well. This is an interesting part of the clip here. She actually climbs on this upper rock, which she's not known for being too much of a climber. She just climbed the snow pile, but for her to be able to jump up on top of this rock and put weight on equally on her back legs is a good thing. So she's doing quite well. We actually are quite impressed with her as she matures into a 2-year-old. Her mobility is very good, and she's certainly a very active member of this pack. A little bit too active for Aiden's liking sometimes. Not only can she climb, but she can dismount as well, and that's a good thing. So again, we're very happy about that. It was a cold winter too, and she did quite well. So obviously in these frozen straw piles, we do have bones coming out of the frost, and Luna is able to find those with ease, and that's keeping her quite occupied. So as the temperatures start to warm, we start getting some cool evenings, so we still are trying to maintain a little bit of extra nutrients for them as anytime the temperatures drop below freezing. And that means that our snow pile is going to stick around for quite a while, and we are seeing some melt, as you can see from the south-facing slopes where the ground that has been exposed has been melting. But lots of stuff coming out of the snow, some of it fun. Tug of war here with a very, very small deer hide that came out of the snow. Bolts had it first, and of course Luna can't allow that, so she's going to try to take it from Bolts. You can see by the ear posture that Luna is winning here. Bolt's ears are pricked and turned sideways, so he's a little bit intimidated by it. Although he does walk away with it, but eventually Luna got it later, so it is one of those behaviors that we do see. The wolves are quite a bit more relaxed than they were even 2 weeks ago. We're seeing a lot more social dynamics, a lot more rolling on the back, pawing at each other. This is usually indicative of spring. During the springtime, hormones change a little bit, and the wolves become pretty social, although Luna's always got that opportunity to assert some dominance, even over Aiden. Does she try to do a standover and show him some dominance? When the exhibit pack is in the front of Grizzer's habitat, Grizzer's moved in the back, so that means when he comes back out, he gets to sniff where everyone has been, and he gets to investigate their treats, and he got a full belly full of treats this time. The wolves were in holding for about 20 minutes, and so there's a lot of materials that were in the enclosure, and then when they came back out, we spread out a little bit more for Grizzer's sake, and so that kept him pretty occupied. Grizzer's pond has got some meltwater, and it is iced over, so we're going to be quite a while before we see some relief in this weather. Still pretty icy in here, and that's obviously something that we make sure that things are calm so that we don't have any racing around, any slipping on the ice. Grizzer is going to be 10 years of age, and we don't want any issues or problems for him. And you see Grizzer do an RLU there. marking where the other wolves have been. That's one of the stimuli of being separated. When you come back in, lots of places to mark. Shadow, on the other hand, he got some of the same treats. He decided to scent roll on them. So we always know that wolves are feeling pretty good when they scent roll. Just something about that rolling on the back that gets them pretty excited. So he wasn't a big fan of eating the treats. He preferred to roll on them a little bit more. We also did have some other treats that we brought in for Shadow. He's being fed quite a bit more frequently now. His appetite's increased tremendously, so we're giving him pretty much whenever he wants to eat, whatever he wants to eat. His preference has been chicken. He also likes beef, and he will been carrying around deer legs quite a bit too. So we've been kind of rotating his diet, mixing it up a little bit, so he's got something always stimulating for him. So, like I say, we see less howling, and we see more stimulus. Greetings are still very, very good with wolf care staff, and he is active. So again, those are the parameters that we look for to make sure that Shadow's doing well. The other thing that we find is that he's still caching behavior, and caching means he's taking pieces. This is a turkey neck that he was given for a feeding, and he's trying to cache it. The snow is really crusty, and it's very difficult. Been frozen mornings because the snow gets damp during the day, and then because it's below freezing at night, crusts over, and it makes it for a little bit of a challenge for him to try to find a place to cache his food. He's been digging around in the dirt, walking around looking for a place that's got some soft snow that he can bury his turkey neck. But that's also, like I said, a kind of a good sign. That's another behavior that's returned since the loss of Malik. Prior to that, he wasn't defending food very much from the ravens, and he was not as interested in feeding. And now, like I said, he's feeding every day, and he's caching and certainly scent rolling and doing some of those things that are really good interactions. And we're certainly happy to report that. So that's it for this week's YouTube. And one thing on Shadow's camera seems to have some kind of a seal issue. It's been fogging over on some of these damp mornings when the temperatures rise and the snow starts to melt. It gets pretty damp, and we've been noticing some fogging conditions. So I'll try to take that apart early next week and see if I can get that fixed. But otherwise, he's doing well, and everybody seems to be managing. The exhibit pack is as active, as social as ever, and Grizzer and Shadow are entertaining each other even through the fence. So that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next week.